Well, good afternoon and welcome here to Guiseley Radio on a Saturday afternoon. We're back in the league, we're back at Nethermore. It's been the case of home games all round so far for the Lions, and today it's the visit of Hereford, who have made a slightly delayed trip up north to Nethermore, having faced a few problems on the way, and are here with another 15 minutes until about kick-off, or another 10 minutes or so to about kick-off. So kick-off will be at 3:15 today. A very warm welcome to you watching us on the YouTube live stream. The live stream provided by the club, and we're fulfilling, we hope, as much of a opportunity for you to enjoy the game, despite the fact that, unfortunately, due to all of the current circumstances, supporters can't come to the ground, which is certainly a disappointing scenario for everybody, including everyone in the ground at the moment. The experience is just not the same, and hopefully we'll be in a position where football fans can return soon, although obviously there are other issues that need to be resolved before that will happen. The live stream today being funded by the club, and we're really grateful for everybody who has supported the crowdfunder online. That has been hugely appreciated, that our efforts, that you were willing to help us put this on and make us be able to provide this stream free from a paywall, which is what we would love to be able to continue doing this season. Obviously that has its challenges because there are costs that we have to bear to actually put this game on a live stream, and in the equipment and in the facilities to enable that to happen. I'm Colin Robertson. Alongside me is Nick Keefe, who's just got himself settled into this position, and we're both looking forward to a very interesting league encounter between these two sides, added with a little bit of spice of former Lions in the opposition lineup as well today.
Well, there's plenty of former Lions around in the system, aren't there? And only in midweek did we have a fairly major return by one of them, who certainly left his mark both on the game and the dressing room door, we understand, because he's such a charmer. And today, well, it's sadly a player we would have hoped was still with us this season, and that's Andre Jones, of course, and he lines up in the Hereford lineup. Not the only Lion to have gone that way in recent seasons, of course. Previously, Rowan Liebert went down to Hereford, having left here, and we welcome the club back today, and hope that Andre has a decent game without leaving too much of an imprint on the final result.
Yeah, and it is interesting as well, because the other one on the subs bench is Kennedy Diggy, of course, two players who joined just at the start of the season, who were wondering whether they might be persuaded to sign again for the club. Two players that actually, towards the end of last season, became fairly permanent features in the starting lineup. I
think even now there are still threads on the Guiseley AFC forum online asking the question, does anyone know where Andre Jones and Ken Diggy have gone? And it's a 2-for-1 sort of answer, unfortunately, not with us anymore, but we know exactly where they are. They're here at Nethermore today.
Just to give you the heads up, we're going to be going through the teams just in a short while, so we'll read those through. But I just thought, because games have started, we've got a big cup tie this week. We'll be keeping an eye on the score at the FC United game as well. But there's already been goals in our division. Telford lead at home to Gateshead. They struggled against Blythe. Blythe, a team we thought were a team that were well beaten when they came here. They are already 1-0 up at Gloucester. So it just goes to show the form book and the expectations will probably shift quite a bit this season between teams in the early stages.
Well, we're seeing funny results at all levels of football, aren't we? But we had a similar sort of thing first day of last season. I know we've talked about this already, but that same experience of playing Kings Lynn and beating them and thinking, well, we're not sure whether we were really good or they were really bad, and then obviously Kings Lynn went on to get promotion, didn't they? So it's hard to judge too much on that first day of the season. I think we knew watching Blythe that day that they couldn't possibly be as we saw them for a whole season, and so it seems they've turned a corner very quickly.
Yeah, and often it helps, doesn't it, to have an atrocious start, that you actually turn your season around because you realise something very badly is wrong. As happened with ourselves, of course, in that 2014 campaign, where we almost got promoted with Mark Bauer at the helm, missing out to Altrincham in the final. But we started atrociously that season, didn't we, with defeats at home to Solihull and really very, very poor start. So it's quite an interesting.
It takes a little while to get into a season,
yeah.
And players, particularly at this level, players have lives outside of football. They're not, they haven't got nutritionists and personal trainers working with them over the off-season months. Normally those would be in the summer. They've sort of been a bit more autumnal this year, but people come back. Some of them are absolutely ready to go. Some of them have been enjoying their lives outside of football over the summer, and it can be a couple of months really before you get into the season fully. And I think that's something you have to accept at part-time football level. It isn't. I know we're treating it as a cocoon and as elite sport, but these lads have a few more things going on in their life than the life of a true elite footballer in the Premier League, where it's basically training and eating and resting, rinse and repeat.
Talking of the Premier League, there was an article in the news this week, a question I'd read on the BBC website about when was the last time there was the numbers 1 to 11 used in a Premier League game. So where naturally the starting 11 just happened to have the squad numbers at 1 to 11. And it dated back to the 90s, a long time. And today at Nethermore, and this is a segue into the team news, today at Nethermore is the first league game that we've played since our National League days where we'll be facing an opposition who have gone for the squad number option. So we'll be playing 1 to 11, but Hereford have got squad numbers this season, which is a feature, an option that clubs could take this year. Money
to burn they must have, because... Well, certainly the last time we had squad numbers, we got through an awful lot of shirts that season, didn't we? But
the printers were busy.
They were. No, I think from our club's point of view, it's keep things simple. Whoever's playing gets the shirt that day. But if you're in a position where you can afford squad numbers and names and all that sort of extra printing and whatever sort of costs, fair enough. It's an interesting thing to have a mixture of those two, and it's rare in league history, I think, that would be the case, that where you would have a mix of squad numbers and just 1 to 11 on the day, no names, in the same division.
In the same division, yeah. Of course, it was a regular feature in cup competitions when they first introduced the squads, because, of course, everything from the Championship, or Division 1 as it was then, downwards, used to rely on 1 to 11. Anyway, this is a delaying tactic. Let's get down to the the squads, the team news for today. So our visitors in their squad numbers, in goal, number 1, Paul White, 2, Jared Hodgkiss, number 6 is Jamie Grimes, 5, Jake Wright, 23, Dan Jones, 3, Luke Haynes, number 9, Andre Jones, 17, Ryan Lloyd, 11, Kyle Finn, 14, Lennell John Lewis, 10, Tom Owen Evans, and then substitutes, 16, James McQuilkin, 34, Kelsey Mooney, 18, Jan Klakowski, 7, Chris Camwell, and 12, Kennedy Diggy. For the Lions, it is Brad Wade in goal, George Cantrell, Brad Nicholson, Mark Howarth, Hamza Ben Sharif, Dan Cowan, Kane Felix, Prince Ekpolo, Jonathan Wafula, LeBrun Becker, Gabriel Johnson, and then on the bench, Isaac Curry, Matt Gillum, Ashton Hall, Nathan Newell, and Paul Clayton. So looking like a very regular lineup now, that starting 11 for Guiseley. Looks like the managers have settled very swiftly on a settled team.
Very little reason to tinker with what's working, is there, at the moment? As we were saying on Tuesday, we haven't been overloaded with fixtures at the start of the season like you sometimes are in the normal August start. So while you're scoring plenty and not conceding any, you might as well carry on as you are, really.
Well, thank you very much for tuning in. If you're listening on MixLR, you can join us on the chat room. You can join us on the chat room even if you're not listening on MixLR and you're watching the YouTube live stream. We'll be very grateful for your comments. You can join us with the chat room, as has Lion Cub, who's just pointed out that the journey from Hereford must be the longest to Nethermore in our league. I think it probably is, actually. I think now maybe Kings Lynn was also a bit of an awful journey. That might be just in terms of time. Field J99 tuning in from Sheffield, up the Lions. You're very welcome. Let's hope we can bring a victory to your screen or to your headphones or however you're enjoying the game. Eloyne at 16, hope it's a longer journey back to Hereford with 0 points. Well, that's it, straight in there with the partiality, and I must admit I agree with you. Chester, 1 up at Spennymoor, advises CDP, who's on top of all things as in the news, and will probably be able to keep us corrected as the game goes along as well. So it's great to have CDP along as ever. And with all of you, do share your thoughts on the Mixlr chat room. That helps us tick the time over here on Guiseley Radio. We're just about a couple of minutes till kick-off. The tunnel seems to be being prepared to be pulled out for the players to arrive, as they do more kind of Sunday League style nowadays, don't they? They come out separately, so you'll see one bunch come out first, then they'll be joined by the second team after a few moments, and then the officials thirdly. So it's a much more relaxed affair than all this line-up and shaking hands and balls off a pedestal type of affair.
Yeah, I quite like it actually in some ways, and they sort of saunter out, don't they? Sort of in a ragtag couple of bunches, and there's always been a certain irony in watching teams shake hands between starting kicking lumps out of each other. That's never quite sat comfortably as a viewer to me.
Well, could the respective handshake maybe just diffused a few things on Tuesday night? It's a question an answer to that question we'll never know. They're still milling around the tunnel down there. A couple of other scores from the National League as well, but there's an equaliser for Gloucester already against Blyth. So I think maybe we've had the kiss of death on their revival already. Gloucester 1, Blyth 1. In the National League itself, Wealdstone are beating Wrexham by 1-0. Notts County and Maidenhead are already 1 apiece as well, and we'll keep you up to speed with some of the other scores as we go through today. Alan Thompson joining on the Mixlr chat room, just saying time to get the beer open and settle down. Sounds like a good one. And then Steve Nigel's just adding also on the Mixlr chat room, come on you Lions. And as you can probably tell from the sound, if not from the images, if you're not watching, but the two sides are now making their way onto the field. Guiseley just following Hereford, who are out on the pitch already, and wearing an interesting kit, an away kit with like a light pink shirt, black shorts and white socks. And the Lions, of course, turning out in their usual white with blue shorts, rolling out here. The referee's adding himself to the pitch, ball in hand. Referee today is Paul Brown, and he's going to be assisted by Declan Brown and Samuel Wright. And very shortly we will be underway, but the Lions just congregating there and having a little conversation before we get underway. What's your final thoughts on this? What do you feel? What's in your bones about today's game, Nick?
My bones are that I'm expecting a higher quality game than the one we saw on Tuesday. I'm expecting to see a bit more football than we saw, and possibly for it to be a little bit more open. Andre Jones and Kennedy Diggy will have told their teammates everything they need to know about this Guiseley team and the way the managers like to set it up. So we can be assured the visitors will be well prepared. Let's see what Guiseley have got ready for them.
Well, you can probably hear Dave's trying his best to add the atmosphere into the ground and build up the anticipation for today's game. He's pretty much doing it all on his own, but he's doing a great job nonetheless. The coin toss just completed. Hamza Ben Sharif claps at the players, urging them on to put in another heavy shift, just like they had to do on Tuesday night. A game in which, playing against 9 men was a very difficult situation in some respects, because Matlock were so good at sitting behind the ball and a very effective counter-attacking team. The Lions, despite having those man advantage and then 2-man advantage, did find it was probably a harder task than perhaps it looks on paper with that advantage.
Very much a game where their lack of discipline was the biggest single impact on the result. And who knows what would have happened in that game if it was 11 versus 11. And Guiseley know they'll have to play a bit more of their game if they want to get 3 points today.
So as the tannoy goes down, the silence seems to emerge around the ground. I'll maybe get Dave to do some of the false fan noise. I don't know, he can just whisper into the microphone for a while as we get underway. Guiseley will be shooting from left to right as we watch in the main stand here, playing in white with blue shorts against Hereford in their away kit of pink. And the Lions chase the ball up in the air, and Kane Felix is upended by Dan Jones, and so it'll be a free kick to the Lions about 10 yards out from the angle of the penalty area on the right hand side. Good bright start this for Guiseley. Yeah,
perfect start. Early chance to get some taller players into the box and see if we can deliver a good set piece.
Becker and Ben Sharif are in that territory as the ball is floated in by Howarth up towards Ben Sharif, who gets a head on it, but he can't keep it down. It's a shout for a corner. Referee points for the goal kick, and a good early opportunity there. Nicely floated ball in there from Mark Howarth, met by the head of Hamza Ben Sharif. Just goes behind for a goal kick.
I'm glad that the kits supplying gods have given us some actual contrast so we can tell which team's which today, because we've had a couple of tricky ones, haven't we? Blue on blue, white on white, and today we can definitely see who is in which team.
Pair of old duffers, aren't we?
They're good clear numbers, aren't they, Colin? You'll be able to read these.
It does make my day. Battle in the centre circle as Wafula is judged to have fouled his man, which is Luke Haynes, as the free kick is taken from inside the Hereford half. The visitors, having had a fairly shortened warm-up, having arrived just about 2:30 to 3, I would say, sometime around that. They've certainly had little time to settle in the ground, and early doors not had much time to settle on the pitch either, as the Lions have had that early free kick, that early opportunity on goal. 2 minutes into the game, still 0-0 though. The ball goes up to the halfway line. Felix gets round his man. He's tripped this time by Jake Wright. Free kick on the halfway line.
Two early signs of each team's intent there. Guiseley starting to play out from the back, from the goalkeeper, well inside their own area. Hereford pressing very high up the pitch. Lewell John Lewis in particular causing trouble inside the Guiseley area, but of course when a team does that, it does leave a lot more space in behind, and that's actually not the worst thing in the world for Guiseley, and we saw it there with Kane Felix. There was a lot of space in the Hereford half, and he was trying to spin and start running into it, and brought down on the halfway line.
So this free kick will see Guiseley bring 4 men up towards the edge of the 18-yard box, and Becker, Ben Sharif, Wafula's in there, goes up towards him. Becker, he's beaten in the air, but it picked up by Dan Cowan at the far post. He's tried to cross it back across face of goal, but got a little bit too much on it, and it's out for a goal kick. A big shout out to everyone on the Mixlr chat room, just joining in. Lion Cub saying this looks like my old PE kit from school. Dale Park Antique saying, come on Lions, another 3 points. RC Lion, come on you Lions. And Espresso Cat, first the lovely Lions, then the Milan Derby. Can a Saturday get better? No, I do not think so. We're very cosmopolitan these days compared to the Milan Derby. Ball up in the air now, and there's a good header from Grimes to clear, but guys who get it back into the Hereford half, who are just struggling to settle in the early stages. Felix chasing down goalkeeper Paul White, who hoofs the ball away, and it's out for a throw-in.
I'll take the point on the kits. It does look a little bit like our shirt got put through the wash with a red jumper, doesn't it?
Ball back with the goalkeeper, and again this time Fuller in there, launching himself at the clearance to see if he can cause an awkward block that might bounce back into the goal, but it was cleared neatly, and it's out now for a throw-in in left-back position for Hereford. Still 0-0, 4 minutes gone. Not 0-0 in the Harrogate Town game. They're playing their first game at home at Wetherby Road in the league, and they're winning 1-0 against Barrow at the moment. Still sounds like a non-league fixture to me. Jared Hodgkiss on the ball. He's played a poor one in field, and it's being collected by Prince Ekpola, but he's been closed down. There's a slide in there by Andre Jones to try and win the ball back. Fails to do so. Guiseley do get it away. Wafula collects inside the Hereford half. Out to the left-hand side. Gabriel Johnson infield here. Umbeka. Some distance from goal. Finds a pass forward to Ekpolo. Nice ball. Out here to Cantrell and takes it back to Ekpolo, but he can't get the return ball before it goes out of play for a goal kick. And it's now a goal kick to Hereford. A bright start for Guiseley in this opening spell.
It does look like there'll be a little bit more space around the pitch than there was on Tuesday. A little bit, as I say, a bit more football played. And Guiseley have made a pretty decent start to the game, winning some key headers in midfield and trying some passes, early passes forward to try and get runners running at the Hereford backline. That's exactly what we saw against Blyth, and it worked tremendously well in that game.
Gloucester 3-1 up against Blyth now. Gloucester City were 1-0 down, and now they're 3-1 up. They'd be about 25 minutes into the game, I would think. And Wealdstone in the National League is now 2-2 with Wrexham. What a fascinating game that looks like it's being. Oh, and there's another goal coming in. You know, he said that Blyth might be having a recovery. They're 4-1 down already.
Now,
Kiss of death.
I didn't know that commentators' curse worked over that range. I thought it was just what's happening in the ground in front of you on that day.
Long ball from Hamza Ben Sharif, trying to go from front to back up towards Wafula, who leapt but could only succeed in nodding the ball on and out of the ground for a goal kick.
I'm giving myself far too much credit there, of course. I was just wrong in my assessment that Blyth were better than they looked.
It sounds better, doesn't it? As if you've got some sort of influence.
Yeah.
So a goal kick is taken. A nice calm day here at Nethermoor, weather-wise. No wind, no rain. Temperate conditions. In fact, when we arrived at the ground about 1 o'clock, it was so warm. It felt like the middle of summer. Dan Cowan has the ball. He's played it out to the right-hand side. Cantrell. Cowan on the halfway line. It's much more cloudy and overcast now, though. It's fresh conditions as well, so not too warm, obviously. Nicholson upfield. Finds Wafula. Wins it off his man and plays it back to Howarth. Goes chasing the ball forward that Howarth chips forward. But it goes through to the goalkeeper, Paul White. Resplendent in bright orange. You wouldn't miss him. Puts the ball to ground and then clears with his right foot into the Lions half. A little bit of head tennis here as Ekpolo finally gets his foot underneath it and away and back into Hereford half, and then over the top from Johnson towards Felix. Felix is strayed a yard offside, and the free kick will be Hereford's midway through the visitors' half. 8 minutes gone, 0-0.
Yeah, and guys are still playing this this new formation for this season that's sort of three-ish at the back, with Gabriel Johnson and George Cantrell as the wide men, either side of Ben Sharif in the middle, Dan Cowan to the right and Brad Nicholson to the left, although Nicholson gets forward a bit more than Cowan usually as well, so it's not completely symmetrical like we were saying in midweek. And the two-ish up front as well, which, you know, we've debated a lot over the years, haven't we? But there's a clear benefit to having bodies up front, especially when they've got a bit of pace and energy to run onto some through balls.
Throw-in for Guiseley, taken back to Hamza Ben Sharif outside his own penalty area. Plays it back to Dan Cowan. Finds the ball forward to Mbeka, who threads it through brilliantly here. Wafula through on goal, just fires it too hard and high. First time he took it as it was free on the edge of the 18-yard box after an incisive pass there from LeBrun Mbeka. And a good run from Wafula. But he just got too much underneath it, and it's gone behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, it was a good move and a good run, but sadly the finish was lacking a little bit. First real good chance of the game, I suppose, from open play.
A little bit hurried?
Snatched at it a bit, yeah, I think you're right. And just, as you say, got underneath it and really would have wanted to get it on target there, I think.
First warning sign then for Hereford, I guess, and they're responding by taking the ball into the Lions half. Cantrell, though, just ensuring that the ball goes out of play for a Guiseley throw midway through the Lions half. He's got few options. He's played it in field rather riskily towards Howarth, who was closed down there by Andre Jones, but Guiseley get away with it. And the ball's gone forward now. Felix launching himself down the left-hand side, looking to get into the middle of the park. He goes back and in doing so plays a rather casual ball that allows Hereford to come on the counter-attack as Cal Finn sprints off down that flank. But a good challenge comes in to disrupt his flow, and it will be a throw into Hereford midway through the Lions half. Still 0-0, 10 minutes gone.
It was a really nice ball by Howarth to start that move for the Lions. As you say, it was a tricky throw to him, and he didn't look like he had options close to him. But it almost looked like a blind pass, sort of sideways and backwards out to Johnson on the left. Showed good awareness, and I know people have commented on the first games that they've been watching on YouTube that Howarth looks like a player who understands where his teammates are, and well, maybe not since Danny Boschel have we had players who know that so well.
Lovely ball there from Wafula into Prince Polo, gets into the area, his shot is blocked. That was an attack that built up very swiftly and neatly. And Becker on the ball now inside the centre circle, plays it square here to Dan Cowan. As Cantrell plays it infield, Polo, edge of the area, inside the penalty area, plays it back here to Cantrell, edge of the 18-yard box, finding a pass in now is the challenge. Cowan attempts it, but is blocked by Tom Owen-Evans' stretched leg, and it's out for a Guiseley throw on the right-hand side.
Yeah, continuing to keep the pressure going. And an obvious plan here with the long throw, as we're watching George Cantrell drop back in with Dan Cowan, and that means Hamza Ben Sharif is up there in the area. Howarth is tall, he's on the edge of the box, and once again, Becker is right in there on the goal line at the near post.
Nicholson goes back to the fence, around the ground, launches it as long as he can in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. There's an appeal for something in the area, but it's a bit half-hearted. And then Cantrell heads on and out for a goal kick. Not sure there's anything particularly of note in that throw. It was a decent launch there from Nicholson. Scrambled away. Just in reaction to that missed opportunity there from Wafula, Lion Cub and RC Lion both saying that, got to get that on target, got to score that sort of opportunity. I think I agree, you at least have to hit the target, you at least have to hurt the goalkeeper from that angle, from that opportunity.
It certainly feels like an opportunity missed to have tested the goalkeeper, but it is something you see a lot in football, isn't it? Because you're not aiming for the middle of the goal, and so you see more misses than you see shots straight down the goalkeeper's throat, and it's because they're trying to not make it too easy for the goalkeeper, but on the other hand, it means you see chances go over that look like they should have been easy to get on target.
Southport beating Chorley 1-0. Chorley, who got that free pass thanks to Macclesfield's demise. But happily, we've heard about their resurgence as well this week. But Chorley plucked out, I think it was ball number 18, wasn't it, in the draw. Not having any luck this afternoon. They're 1-0 down. Guiseley currently scoreless here at home to Hereford. Had chances. Now having just to see the ball out for a goal kick that was played forward by Jamie Grimes. And it's out for a ball that I thought Brad Wade was going to take quite quickly.
Just looked like there might be a moment of hesitation between Cowan and Wade there as the ball went through.
It didn't clear the lines well at all. Ryan Lloyd intercepts. Ball with Jones. Jones is beaten to it by Howarth. And then Becker is fouled. And the free kick is Guiseley's. It's interesting to see Andre Jones, isn't it, in a opponent's number. He came on so well last season. He struggled to find a place in the side, but when he did, in that midfield role, he was excellent. And now he's just having to defend because the ball's gone over the top there towards Wafula, but it's gone through to the goalkeeper, Paul White.
I think we thought we'd signed him as a right-back, didn't we? And he couldn't get into the team, understandably, because Rhys McNally was having such a good start to the season. When he did come in midfield as a holding midfielder, he was brilliant.
Now the ball into the Lions half here. Chase on for Kyle Flynn. Kyle Flynn plays it out to the right flank. Hodgkiss collects. Finn returns the ball into the edge of the penalty area, headed away by Hamza Ben-Sharif. Back into the penalty area once more. There is George Cantrell. Gets a foot underneath it. And it's a game of yards for Guiseley as they chase it all the way upfield now, back to the Hereford goalkeeper.
Now, it's not often you get to start your squad numbering with a complete clean sheet of paper, is it? You know, normally a player comes in and you go, well, what numbers are available, whatever. How did Andre Jones end up with the number 9 shirt?
That's a good question, isn't it? I'll be honest with you, I don't know the answer to that one. Not a natural number 9, that's for sure. So Guiseley currently in defence at the moment. As Stephen Nigels has just pointed out, they seem to be getting more and more into the game to Hereford. Flag is up there as Hamza Ben-Sharif comes in for a challenge on Lewell John Lewis. Thankfully, John Lewis was already offside.
You may have heard us both hesitating there. Our headphones are on the blink as ever, aren't they?
Yeah. There's always something on the blink.
Well, you know, thanks for everyone who's donated today. You know, we do have to keep the floodlights on. We have to pay the staff officials, you know, everyone as normal. I think Dave gets a match day bonus if the scoreboard makes it to the end of the second half. So
his bonus, as with his income, is a biscuit. Trust me.
Well, it would never be claimed anyway. No, we're all volunteers, of course. But if we do meet our costs today, I think I saw somewhere that the club would be kind enough to help us out with some of our busted equipment, which we've moaned about for years, and we haven't been great at taking donations. But it does seem to be a little bit more important that our stuff works this year than usual. So, you know, if you're in a position to chip a couple of quid in so that our headphones work in more than one ear next game, you know, we wouldn't be anything but very grateful.
And with that, the crowdfunder is still available for your kind donations. It's a pay as you feel. We're trying not to restrict the YouTube to a paywalled activity so that you can join freely. So you would be very grateful for your support and your donations today. And we're really, really humbled and grateful for everything that has already been donated, and a huge thank you. Bit of trouble here for Guiseley though. Luke Haynes has a free kick, middle of the park. He's stepping up to hit this one from distance. It looked exceptionally ambitious. He kind of grass-cutted it towards the edge of the 18-yard box where it was beaten away. Hereford still have possession of the ball. They've grown back into this game. Grimes now inside the Lions half. He's playing it out to Jones, Dan Jones that is, and his pass was on a different wavelength to Jones, and the ball goes out of play for a Guiseley throw. Hamza Ben-Sharif steps up from the 18-yard box, and then a heavy touch from Brad Nicholson turns over possession back to Hereford. Polo trying to close down. Hereford have it at the back now. Grimes playing it across the back line. Jake Wright out to the right flank where Hodgkiss will return it to Wright. Guiseley being urged on to press a little higher so that Hereford might work away to come back.
I'm really glad we're not decision makers by any means here, are we, at the club? You know, we just turn up and do our bit, but I'm really glad that this is going out and people are welcome to watch it, and as long as that's possible, we'll hopefully continue to do so.
Now again, Hodgkiss in the ball forward. He's played a nice one into the penalty area. It looked like Lewell John Lewis was free, but the flag went up and the free kick will be Guiseley's. There's a heart and mouth moment though there for the Lions.
Absolutely. Brad Wade suddenly found himself at the feet of an on-rushing striker and looked like he'd broken through the back line, and very glad to see the flag go up. Kane Felix is down and Guiseley are on the break.
Wafula with a really thumping challenge to win possession back after Felix went down to ground. Looked like a free kick. The ball has gone into Polo. Back here to George Cantrell, central now. Umbeka, edge of the area towards Felix. He can't shake his marker. Dispossessed. The ball cleared, but Guiseley get a bit of forward motion again, and a bit of a press up the right end of the pitch after a spell of play in which Hereford had more of the ball. But it's still Guiseley 0, Hereford 0, and 20 minutes gone. The Lions are doing well in this game, early doors.
Yeah, it's gone quite a good clip, hasn't it? We're halfway through the first half almost now, and it's sort of breezed through quite pleasantly. Certainly an easier game to watch than the other night. Referee not needing to stop play quite so often. And it's pretty well poised. Both teams look like they carry a threat. I think Guiseley have had the better of the attacking play, considerably so. But you can see what Hereford are trying to do as well. They look confident in possession as they are now.
Hereford just building up from the back. As you mentioned, Nick. Dan Jones, comfortable on the ball, trying to work it forward. Although Wafula, Cantrell, and now Johnson, trying to engage and close down high up the park. And that one's, well, it looked like it might have been successful when Gabriel Johnson won the ball back. But I think in the end, it just gone out of play before he could send it down the left-hand channel. So it is a throw-in that was taken. And again, this pattern of play in which Hereford play it from the back, looking for angles to get forward. It's a long one. Dan Cowan heads it. Brad Wade had come a long way out of his goal. And it had the ingredients, didn't it, for a mix-up. But thankfully, Cowan just calmly headed it back into the penalty area and Brad Wade could scurry back and collect.
Yeah, second time actually that slight beginnings of miscommunication between Cowan and Wade, and the second time that no harm has come of it. And I suppose that's a helpful reminder that they're just still getting used to each other's game.
Spennymoor 1, Chester 1. An equaliser for Spennymoor. Howarth goes chasing after the ball in the air against Luke Haynes. For a moment he looked like he was going to try a Maradona handball.
Yeah.
And then a clatter from Wafula onto Luke Haynes. Free kick. Luke Haynes, who's on loan from Swindon. The ball is spread out from right to left. Dan Jones plays it down the left channel now, and guys have to set themselves to watch this cross from Owen Evans, whose ball into the box skims into a danger zone. Brad Wade is there, and it was just a yard or so just ahead of the attackers he was aiming for. Wafula now on the counter-attack here on the left-hand side. Can't get past Haynes. Haynes then goes down to ground inside the penalty area. The referee duly obliges. And it's a free kick. A free kick to Hereford. FC United have just equalised. They're trailing 1-0. Of course, we're just watching out for their score because we are facing FC United in the FA Cup 4th round qualifying next Saturday. All things being even.
Well, yeah, there's some hoops to jump through before there. We've seen plenty of games come off, get called off, and FC United are very much in Manchester, aren't they? Greater Manchester in the news today, so we'll see what impacts that has, if any, on that fixture.
Gabriel Johnson now for Guiseley, moving the ball down the left-hand side. It's intercepted. Brad Nicholson, lovely cross-field ball. Brilliantly played out here to George Cantrell, who takes it down. He's going to be closed down here by Owen Evans, but can keep possession of the ball. Gives it to Dan Cowan, right-hand side. Cantrell tries to thread it through to Ekpolo inside the penalty area. It's intercepted and cleared, and now John Lewis has a chance to counter-attack. Fortunately, the Lions are on top of the defensive duties. Gabriel Johnson now down the left-hand side, sending it forward. It's cut out, though, and Guiseley retain possession as it goes up to the halfway line. And Becker out to the right flank. Cantrell, just a little dink forward, chase for Ekpolo, too far ahead of him, behind for a goal kick. 24 minutes gone, Guiseley 0, Hereford 0.
Yeah, and another chance for Hereford to start from the back. You can see what Guiseley are trying to do, just haven't quite put the final ball in place yet. You see bursts of promise. But in truth, Hereford have defended reasonably well so far as well.
Weymouth are beating Kings Lynn in the National League. Eastleigh beating Aldershot.
Sorry, say that again.
Weymouth.
Okay.
Weymouth. Weymouth. You get away with nothing with you, Nick, do you? Guiseley now having to do a bit of defensive work, or rather were about to do some defensive duties, but for a rather overhit ball forward.
I would be up for seeing Weymouth playing Red Ditch. Yeah, look, to be honest, Colin, you rinse me often enough in this coverage.
Well, let's just settle with we're both dreadful. The ball's gone in from the right-hand side as Hereford are pressing once more. That one, a long ball in towards John Lewis. Thankfully, Brad Wade can claim. Gloucester 5, Blythe 1. Ouch.
Whoops.
That's not a nice half-time score.
That's a long way to go to get a thrashing like that, isn't it?
Yeah. We're 15 minutes behind if you're just joining us, of course. You don't necessarily know, but we were delayed by 15 minutes, so this is a 3:15 kickoff. And Becker on the ball now for Guiseley in the centre circle. Plays it up towards the edge of the 18-yard box, but an aerial ball towards Kane Felix wasn't really going to work. Grimes does have a foot on Felix. He's a big defender and an effective one. He plays the ball up towards the halfway line to John Lewis. It's a good cross from the left to the right to find Finn. Kyle Finn just backheels it nicely. Hodgkiss with a cross into the box is a really good move and a good header there from John Lewis. In the end, it was comfortable for Brad Wade to claim, but that was a really good move there from the visitors. Hereford moving the ball quickly into the box, and the presence of John Lewis causing Guiseley problems. A header easy in the end, I think, for Brad Wade to claim, but that could have been worse.
That was a really good move, really up the tempo in that move. And as you say, John Lewis was in the right place. Header in the right direction, but just not quite enough power on it to panic Brad Wade, who managed to get two hands and catch it above his head, over his left shoulder.
Dan Cowan just earns Guiseley a free kick. And the left-back's position, much to the displeasure of Dan Jones, who was the man who's penalised.
We should say, for anyone joining us for the first time today, we're doing this commentary for the people listening on Mixlr, as we would normally do, so we're describing what happens. But those of you watching on YouTube obviously can see it as well. And you're all very welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Cantrell with the ball goes forward. Wafula takes it under control. Felix then takes hold of the ball down the right-hand side. He crosses a little bit too high, and it's behind for a goal kick. You've got them all starting now, Nick. CDP's on the Mixlr chat room correcting me.
Uh-oh.
He says Weymouth, Red Ditch, or even Hereford, chaps.
Where?
Oh.
Here,
he's criticising my pronunciation.
That's all right. I think we've both made our share of bloopers already this season. At least you didn't, insult an entire country by getting them mixed up with a different one like I did against Blythe.
Now Guiseley on the attack once more, but Kane Felix is dispossessed.
Listen, if it was better, we'd be able to pay Wallet. Charge 15 quid like the pros.
Now Jones has the ball for Dan Jones. That is for Hereford. There are two Jones in the side. The other one was former Lion Andre. This one, Dan Jones continues, gets into the area. There's a challenge on Owen Evans, and it looks rather soft to me, but a penalty has been given to Hereford right on the edge of the 18-yard box. And Becker's saying it wasn't in the area. He's pointing to a place outside of it. Was there much of a challenge in there?
Well, all of you watching on YouTube, as we've been saying before, you have the benefit of being able to rewind and look at that again. I thought the ball was won cleanly. I was saying that hesitantly because all of you get a proper look that we don't get in here. I agree that it was inside the area. I think it was ambitious asking for a free kick. I mean, it was right on the edge, but I think it was inside. And so a penalty goes against the Lions. First one after we've been the beneficiary of 2 in previous games.
So it will be John Lewis who will take this one. Well, John Lewis will just look at the ball for a moment. He stands right over it, steps back a couple of yards. Brad Wade's arms are spread. John Lewis takes it. Oh, he slides it underneath Brad Wade. And it is 1-0 to the visitors. Guiseley 0, Hereford 1.
Oh, that's really disappointing, isn't it? Doing so well in the game, but Hereford had shown some ability to pick up the pace and cause indecision at the back for Guiseley, and obviously that's what they've managed to do there. Until I've had another look at the penalty decision itself, I'm cautious of going too strong with what I thought happened. That's new for us this season. And this is new for us this season as well, conceding a goal, first time.
First goal conceded for the Lions. And half an hour gone. Guiseley are a goal behind. Could have been different had we taken a couple of chances that we've created as well. Ekpola wins the ball. Free kick's given against him, as Owen Evans is adjudged to have been fouled. The initial reaction on Mixlr chat room, he and Terry saying definitely outside the box. Lion Cub saying bad decision. Moina 16 also saying shocking decision. So I think there's a feeling that certainly from the Guiseley perspective, that wasn't a clear penalty. Feldmeister just pips up with at least that John Lewis delivers. I'm still waiting for a microwave I ordered 2 weeks ago. I wondered how long it would take till we got to that.
I was resisting. I couldn't do it.
Free kick to Guiseley. As on that occasion, John Lewis is penalised. Owen Evans was the man who won the penalty for Hereford. It feels like win might be the appropriate word. The ball forward from Ben Sharif plays it long up towards Kane Felix, but that one's nodded back by Hodgkiss, and the goalkeeper White will claim.
Well, thanks for those messages. For those of you who've been able to have another look at it, as I say, I was feeling uncertain. It didn't look like a penalty to me, but wary of making fools of ourselves, aren't we? But it looked soft.
Hereford now in possession of the ball on the halfway line. Guiseley camped really in our halves at the moment. Owen Evans with a good crossfield ball here to the right-hand side. Finn will cross this one from the right flank in towards John Lewis. Headed up and away eventually by Guiseley. It's scooped away by Cantrell. Nodded on by Wafula, but to no avail. Haynes will collect. Plays it out to Hodgkiss on the right-hand side, and he has gone forward, whilst Hereford actually opt to go back to Paul White. Still the Lions in search of a goal, trailing here by 1-0 after 33 minutes. There's another view here. David Highfield just joining. Was definitely in the box, but a very soft penalty. And Stephen Nigel saying utter rubbish from the ref, clean tackle. It's a game of opinions, isn't it, they say?
Yeah, it is. And, what doesn't matter about our opinion is that the goal's been scored and guys who have to get themselves back into the game. And in truth, from about the midpoint in the half onwards, it did start to feel like we were starting to drift a little bit, dropping a little bit of intensity. And now we need to pick that up again.
Hereford now in possession of the ball again inside the Lions' half. At least guys are pressing a bit further forward, but at the moment the goal does seem to have taken the wind a little bit out of the Lions' sails.
Well, I think having had that strong start, it was starting to feel like there was a little bit of a lull on about 25 minutes, 22, 25 minutes. And then that's obviously given Hereford the opportunity to grab the initiative, and they're going for another.
Ball forward from the back towards Owen Evans. This time Hamza Ben Sharif is on hand to tidy up. Cowan runs the ball out of play rather sloppily on that occasion. Be frustrated with himself. And so it's a throw for Hereford, halfway line.
Yeah, a little lapse in concentration. That he had time and space, and as he was looking up to pick a pass, he just let the ball run out of play, really.
Half time, we're going to hear from Andy Kellett from an interview with Tom. He's going to come up to the stand and have a chat with Tom, we hope. You'll be able to see that on the YouTube feed as well. Now Polo's got the ball here as Guiseley surge forward. Finally on the front foot, Felix, edge of the area, plays it into the box. Polo's there, he gets there, sliding challenge to block. The clearance is completed, but not as far as Felix. Played back here to Mbeka. Long range effort from Mbeka. Very ambitious. And a poor decision in the end. It's gone high and into the car park beyond.
Well, if he was playing for the Rhinos, getting our sporting occasions mixed up that time.
I think he hit that one for 6.
Oh,
Oh dear. Guys, he faced a restart as Hereford start from the goal kick, and Jones finds plenty of space down this left-hand side. Cantrell tries to close down as Grimes opts to go back to the goalkeeper. Ivor's view of the penalty was the fact the first reaction of 2 of our players was to point outside the box, suggesting they knew it was a foul. Very clumsy, he thinks. Generally, there is a mixed review for that penalty, so I think that validates we can't really make our minds up either.
yeah, and I think completely different to the one that we saw on Tuesday night, which was a dead easy decision, a sliding tackle from behind inside the area. And sometimes the decisions aren't so clear-cut, and you just have to accept and get on. We're 1-0 behind. What are we going to do next?
Hereford have just opted to take the ball back to the goalkeeper, try and invite Wafula and Felix on and work the ball up around them. It's not quite worked yet. Goes back to Paul White, who's cleared the pitch. It's bounced down on the halfway line for a Guiseley throw. A couple of sloppy touches in the game from the Lions, but it's not been a bad performance. It's a strong Hereford side, this. There's plenty of former Football League experience. Good blend of age and youth.
Oh, we're not playing badly. Our passing's been decent, enough to cause uncertainty in the area for Hereford a few times, as we saw again just there, around the penalty spot, now in the hands of the goalkeeper. No, we've made opportunities. We've not dominated. And there's been a couple of chances inside the box that we haven't used to best effect.
Yeah, Guiseley winning the ball here with Polo scrambling and fighting hard to win it. Felix has got 3 around him. He's going to try and get it back to Cantrell. Cantrell joins in the fray, wins the ball. Right-hand side crosses into the box. Cleared quite comfortably. The sort of chances the Lions are getting are a little bit limited in their threat at the moment. Ben Sharif. Cowan on the halfway line. Mbeka to find a cutting edge now as we go towards the break. It goes up to Wafula. The lay back to Howarth was a little too heavy. Howarth overhits it. It's gone into Hereford possession, but finally a bit of a rub of the green. Polo is fouled. A free kick. It's taken quite quickly. Howarth into Brad Nicholson. Left hand side, Gabriel Johnson opts to go back, and again Gabriel Johnson gets the ball. The 1-2 is overhit. The flag goes up. It's gone out for a goal kick, and it's a little bit pedestrian. You've got the ball, but we're just not really creating the angles or the precision of the passing to break down this Hereford defence.
Yeah, the energy's dropped a bit from the game, hasn't it, since the goal? And at the moment, Hereford haven't had too much of the ball, so they're not showing too much ambition going forward, and we're struggling to break through. We're getting into that final third, but that final ball into the box is just a little bit ragged each time.
Cowan clears, but it's headed back into the Lions' half. Owen Evans battling away. There's a foul on Mbeka. Free kick to Guiseley. Inside the Lions half. Stephen Nigel's just asking for a shout out to Lorna Field watching from Lanzarote.
Nice.
The weather and the football. It's a good choice.
Are Hereford full-time? Do you know? It's all right if you don't.
I think there might be, actually.
They have the look of a full-time. There's a lot of, apart from maybe John Lewis, they look like, you know, pro footballers, a lot of these players.
There's a lot of players who are, you know, former pros, or probably currently pros, but, you know, players who've played in the Football League, like I said.
You know what I mean? You can just sometimes tell with the posture and the way that they move. You know, even the defenders, the centre-backs, who are big, tall players, but they just have the look of, you know, tuned sort of athletes in the way that they move around, and it is making it difficult for Felix and Wafula. They're not really being able to bully the defenders so far.
There's a bit of dispute over the throw-in on that far side, and there is now a long throw that will be launched into the box. It's thrown into Gabriel Johnson back here. Brad Nicholson plays it back to Howarth. Howarth, cross with his left foot, takes a deflection. Should go for a corner. It does.
Well, it'd be a good chance to get an equaliser now. 4 minutes until half-time. Not a huge amount of intensity in the game at this point, but that little move there to force the corner will be handy, and it's a while since the guys have had a good chance. And so they're loading the box. Just Cowan and Nicholson staying back. Ekpolo and Gabriel Johnson on the edge of the area. Everyone else inside it. Actually, two over there to take the corner.
Corner comes in from this left-hand side. Whipped up towards the head of Wafula. It goes towards goal, but it's scrambled clear before it can threaten the goal. But it'll be a throw-in from the right-hand side. Brad Nicholson trundling across here. Try and get a long ball into the box.
Yeah, it was a good delivery with the left foot by Mark Howarth onto the head of Wafula. Let's see, all the big players have stayed forward for this throw.
Nicholson, long throw into the box, headed away. Comes back here to Ekpolo. Nicholson asks for it. Collects it on his left foot, curls it into the box. Stooping header to clear. Howarth collects on the edge of the 18-yard box, back into the penalty area, again cleared. Hodgkiss scrambles it up into the air and out into the cricket field. And it'll be another Guiseley throw midway through the Hereford half. Still Lions trailing by a goal to nil, 3 minutes to go to the break.
Yeah, good sustained pressure this as we approach the half-time interval. Third set piece in a row now. Nicholson back over on the left-hand side where he plays to deliver that same long throw into the area.
And it's another long one in towards the penalty spot, up towards Hamza Pencherif. He nods it on. Felix back to goal. Tries to take it down and turn and shoot, but it's blocked. It's cleared. Far as Cantrell. Good spell this for the Lions. Got to make it tell a little bit more. Cowan into the box. Up towards Wafula. Heads it on. And Becker wins the ball on the edge of the area. Shout for high foot. Pencherif tries something a little bit more acrobatic. And that doesn't come off. It's out of play. It's behind goal kick.
Yeah, Pencherif was attempting a really ambitious, technically difficult volley there and just couldn't hold his nerve to wait until the ball dropped onto his foot and ended up sending it high into the air and safely behind.
Goal kick taken by White. Just gets good length on it and it's sent into the Lions half. Dan Jones down the left-hand side. Cantrell slides in, makes the challenge. The throw will be taken. Ryan Lloyd picks the ball up and is, I think, swiftly advised to put it down. It's going to be a Dan Jones throw. There are three pink shorts. Pink shirts. Don't pick me up on that one as well. Pink shirts inside the penalty area. Dan Jones gets the ball back from the throw. George Cantrell gets a foot in there, enough just to disrupt the play and clear. And it's back to White. The Hereford keeper just passes the ball out to the right-hand side. Guiseley press. Finns under pressure but keeping hold of the ball. And in the end it's nicely played down the right-hand side. John Lewis is blocked. His path is blocked by Ben Sharif. Rather ambitiously claims a foul. Ben Sharif just holding his ground on that occasion. Cowan over the halfway line. He's got Cantrell ahead of him. Cowan tries to play it forward, but Owen Evans blocks. The ball up in the air towards Kane Felix. He's beaten in the air by Grimes, and now the counter-attack could be on for Hereford. Johnson gets in there just to intercept before the ball works its way through to Finn. Johnson back here to Nicholson, and then to Howarth. Howarth, crossfield ball, excellent ball out here to Cantrell. Cantrell infield now. Becker now finds Howarth once again. Howarth, good range of passing from Howarth this time. As he tries to play it through, Wafula, I think, just got his legs caught up with the defender, couldn't get out of it, and the ball goes through to the goalkeeper, Paul White. 45 minutes are up. Still the Lions trail by a goal to nil.
There won't be a huge amount of time to add. I don't know if we've seen the board, but it's been an open game and no injuries requiring treatment. No yellow cards, you know, been a straightforward sort of half, and I don't suppose therefore the referee will let this run too far past 45.
We asked the question about full-time Hereford, and CDP's just advised us that they're hybrid. So they're not full-time, but they train 4 times a week. And also asked and answered his own question about Rowan Liebert, which is where is he playing? And his answer is he's playing at Welling. Guiseley have a throw midway through the Hereford half. Rather ambitiously, Nicholson is looking like he's going to try a long one. He gets a decent length, but it was never going to land much further inside the 18-yard box than it did. The follow-up shot from George Cantrell is fairly optimistic. Well, and it's far and wide anyway, and behind for a goal kick.
There have been a few underwhelming shooting attempts, haven't there, from a Guiseley point of view in this half. I'm not really remembering a save the goalkeepers had to make, even though we've had decent opportunities.
Feels like a result suggests we're not. Then we don't feel, and they don't feel that they're creating enough clear-cut chances, so they're more willing to take the long-range effort.
Yeah, well, it's proven difficult to get into the box, and that's why we reach half-time without anything on our side of the score sheet. Not been a bad performance, particularly in the first 20 minutes, but we'll actually go in at the break just that one goal behind. Well,
half-time arrives, and it's the Lions who trail. The only goal of the game from the penalty spot, and that was converted by Donald John Lewis with a very calmly taken penalty after Tom Owen Evans was brought down in the penalty area. A little bit of question mark over the penalty from our perspective, but there are conflicting views about it, so nothing particularly convincing. In terms of the rest of the game, the Lions, well, we started very brightly indeed, and might have grabbed an early goal, particularly when Jonathan Wafula was put through on goal. He took a hurried shot from the edge of the area with just the goalkeeper to beat, missing the target and firing over into the penalty area. And then the visitors grew back into the side. They really pressed, didn't they? And they could have got perhaps they might have felt that they could have got another goal when John Lewis had a fine finished off a fine move with a header in the box, but was well saved by Brad Wade. So I don't know. It's been a balanced game, but I think actually the scoreline is pretty reflective of where we are.
Yeah, it's been a pretty even sort of game. Guiseley were better in the first half of the half, and Hereford were probably better in the second half of the half. Of the managers over the break, I'm sure Josh Gowling will be happier because they've seen off the early threat of Guiseley. They've scored the goal, taken the lead away from home, and so they just want to consolidate on that. For Russ O'Neill and Marcus Bignut, they're going to have to ask the players to step up the tempo. I think in the second half they're going to have to show a bit more intensity and really make more of the opportunities that they do get, and try and get some shots on target and test this goalkeeper, Paul White. So a little bit of work for Guiseley to do at half-time, but still everything to play for in the second half.
Well, we're hopefully going to be hearing Tom Feeney have a chat with Andy Kellett at half-time. The Lions are back in the changing rooms now. Guiseley, of course, with a big job to do in the second half, as we will follow live on the YouTube feed that we've put out. And again, just a reminder, really, that we're very grateful for the the payers. You feel the voluntary support that you've shown to the club, to us today, to be able to cover our costs in putting out this stream today. It's something we're really grateful for. And if you feel like you'd like to support us as well, look on the YouTube. There's a link to a crowdfunder site which will help you do that. But thank you, really honestly, thank you so much to everyone who has done that so far today. We're really very grateful. I'll stop grovelling now. Half-time scorelines. Let's just go through the National League scores. Dagenham Redbridge 0, Yeovil 0. Altrincham, Bromley, Barnet and Hartlepool both postponed. Eastleigh 1, Aldershot 1. Notts County 2, Maidenhead 1. Solihull Moors 0, Borehamwood 0. Torquay 2, Dover 0. Wealdstone 2, Wrexham 2. Weymouth 1, Kings Lynn 1. Woking 0, FC Halifax 0. And then in the north, it's AFC Telford 1, Gateshead 0. Curzon Ashton 1, Farsley 0. Gloucester 5, Blythe 1. Remember, all these games are actually taking place now because we're 15 minutes behind the others, with the game kicking off late. Half-time here, Guiseley 0, Hereford 1. Southport 1, Chorley 0. Spennymoor 1, Chester 1. York 0, Brackley 0. Now, Nick, if you'll just summarise your final thoughts of this game before we swap over and hear from Tom having a chat with Andy.
Well, I think everything to play for in the second half, isn't it? How does that hear? I put my mask on now, so I don't know what you're hearing exactly, but yeah, I think everything to play for in the second half. Narrow scoreline at the moment, and Guiseley will want to get back into the game early after the break, and Hereford will want to consolidate the lead that they have. Have I filled enough time for you there, Tom? You're just getting set up with Andy Kellett here. So instead of going offline at half-time, as we so often do, then I'll just we'll pass over to you instead, and we'll hear from Andy. We're not seeing Andy in the league yet, but nice of him to join us up here. Over to you, Tom.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. And yes, it is half-time. It is 1-0 to Hereford, but thank you for those that are donating so far. Over £1,000, and this money really will help the club. And joining me now is one of our new signings who hasn't made an appearance yet in the league, but hopefully that'll be very soon. Andy Kellett, how are you doing, Andy?
I'm all right, thanks. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you. And how have you found it then for Guiseley so far today?
It's been brilliant, really. Obviously, I've not had the best of starts to the season with picking up a couple of injuries, but the lads have made me feel very welcome, and both managers have given me the confidence for me to go and have a good year this year.
How did it come about then? Because obviously it must be really uncertain times for players at this level to be trying to get clubs.
Well, last year I went at a club last year, so I was kind of looking for a club myself, and I found it quite difficult. Obviously with what's been going on and that, but I managed to get in at Guiseley with a lad who I've been working with over the summer, and obviously when I met Russ in April time, it was somewhere I really wanted to come, because obviously it's a good little ground, and he knows what he wants from his team, and for me that's what I like, somebody who knows what they want, and I can go and do that on the field every week.
You talk about, the way that Russ O'Neill and Marcus Bignott have put that team together. From the outside looking in, it looks like there's a real good team spirit. Would you say that's the case?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, we've got a lot of new faces this year, but yeah, the team's high in spirit. We're on four wins now in a row. I know we're trailing 1-0 at half time now, but I know what he'll be saying in there. We can go and win this game, and I think they've only had the one opportunity. So yeah, it's a good group. There's a lot of characters in there, and yeah, it's just obviously this second half we need to come out and we need to have a real go.
And talking about your career so far, the teams you've played for, obviously I think there's one question which you must be getting sick of being asked, but your time at Manchester United, how did it come about and what did you make of it?
Well, the first half of the season I was on loan at Plymouth, and I went back to Bolton to play the second half of the season. They wanted to loan me out again, but I was never going to go to Plymouth after United were interested, because it's a one in a life opportunity. And yeah, I went there, and it's funny because I was in Plymouth League 2 where they didn't really have anything, and then you go somewhere next week training and you've got everything that you can think of, really. So yeah, it was really good.
And in terms of that time there, were there times where you were with the first team? Were you near that setup?
Yeah, we was dipped in and out of training all the time. I'd say most of the time we was there, we was training first team, because they do like to mix in the lads. But obviously we played with the 23s. It was a 23s thing, but I was able to learn from obviously the pros there, because we were training with them every day.
Not a bad list of players then to be with, is it?
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it's. I've always said to people when they've asked me about it, like, the gap is so fine from the levels, and I felt like there you had more time on the ball, so in some cases it was kind of easier to play. But then obviously as I've come down the leagues, it's a lot harder. You don't get as much time on the ball. It's a bit hectic. It seems like a lot faster pace, even though it's probably not, because the ball is changed over so many times. It feels like you don't really get that breather. So it's been good to learn on both sides of the game, obviously at the high level, and then coming down to non-league now.
And a lot of people have been asking the question, when will you be back? How is the injury?
We're good at the moment. I've done a bit of running on the grass today, so hopefully not too long. We've not really got a date on it. It's just take each day as it comes.
You must be waiting though, getting ready to get that impression and make a real impression for the fans.
Yeah, well, obviously when I signed it a few weeks before the season, I wanted to hit the season obviously hard and that, and that's not been the case. But I just can't wait to get out there and put things right.
And what would you say the aim should be for Guiseley this season? Because like you've said, there's been a lot of change, but then there is such a good atmosphere in that dressing room.
Well, I think the main aim for us is promotion, and if it's not automatic promotion, it's getting in the playoffs and doing well in the playoffs. And that has always been the goal since I first came here. That's the reason why I wanted to sign here, because it's a club what's got ambition and it wants to do better. And obviously last year they didn't finish in the playoffs, but it looked like, I did keep tabs on it, and it looked like they were going to finish in the playoffs, because I know, speaking to Russ and Marcus, they ended really strongly. So yeah, but then again, it's a long season, and I know it's still early days, but we've just got to take each game as it comes.
And you talk about competition for places as well. The likes of Kane Felix, he's ended last season incredibly. He started this season really well. Playing with players like that as well, it shows the kind of quality within the group.
Yeah, definitely. I think someone like Kane, to always have someone like Kane and John up front who've got loads of pace and are effective, even when the team's playing quite bad, you know you're always going to get that chance at some point in the game. And you can tell the difference. I've been at clubs where you've not really got that goal threat up front, but with them two, there always seems to be. You always think you're in the game, or you will get that chance, and they're always good to have up top. And I know LeBron started up there. He's an handful, good player. But yeah, like you said, competition's good, and we need competition to get to where we want to be.
Now this time next week we'll be in the FA Cup, the fourth qualifying round away at FC United of Manchester. Just How important is it for players to be taking part in that competition? Because obviously a lot of prize money for the club, but the potential to be playing some big teams as well later on.
It's massive, yeah. I didn't actually realise until obviously come to Guiseley how many games you have to play to get there. It's obviously it's like Marcus and Bignett said, it's where players can make a name for themselves. And for someone like Guiseley, if we can if we can as a team we can do a lot better and keep going through the games and keep winning games, we will get there.
And so then, not long to go until the second half gets underway. What do you think the message will be, and what do we need to change? Because obviously we're a goal down, but we're far from out of this, aren't we?
I think we've been. Our main objective is always to run over teams and outwork teams, and I think we've met our match today. I think they're quite a hard-working team, and they're quite physical. But I think things just haven't dropped at the moment, and maybe if we get that chance, momentum gives you the opportunity to go and win the game then.
Well, Andy, I really hope that you're right with that and we can get the 3 points. Another win would be really good. Thank you so much for joining us today, and hopefully we'll be seeing you back on the pitch real soon. Thank you, Andy. Well, that is it then, and thank you to Andy Keller. We are now moments away from the second half. The players coming out. It is going to be Colin Robertson and first Nick Keefe.
Oh, well, how good to hear from Andy Keller. That's a really nice treat at half-time. We wanted to sneak in the question about that Plymouth goal, but we couldn't quite get the question through. Where they were passing notes around and distracting poor Andy there towards the end of that, trying to get the question in. But Tom, being the focused pro that he was, he's used to distractions and he just tunes us out, I think, when we're trying to talk to him. But that was great to hear from Andy. What an experience he's had. What an unusual sort of turn of career he's had, and great to hear that he's hungry and looking forward to getting into the team. And really interesting to me to hear unequivocally the goal is promotion, whereas, for you and I, Colin, as fans of Guiseley, what we really want is to know that we're going to survive from one year to the next. But clearly higher goals within the camp.
Definitely. And if you have a chance to look at that goal, we didn't get the chance to ask him about it. I wanted to really just ask him about it. Just watch Andy Keller goal against for Plymouth. He just waltzes through the whole entire team. So we'll have him back. We'll ask him that question another time. But thank you, Tom. Thank you, Andy. We're about to get underway for the second half now, with Guiseley trailing by 1-0. And that arrived thanks to a penalty that was conceded that little John Lewis converted on the half hour. Referee just going through the final checks. I don't think there are any changes at the break. There aren't any substitutions, and there certainly didn't seem to be any players troubled with any injuries, thankfully. We are 15 minutes behind everywhere else, remember, because we kicked off 15 minutes late. The ball from Brad Wade to Hamza Ben Sharif to start this half is a little bit short. John Lewis is on it, but actually Ben Sharif finds a good ball forward, and it finds Gabriel Johnson. Into the area goes Wafula. He had a great chance in the first half. Dispossessed there in the box, and it's cleared. Brad Nicholson closes down to prevent Finn getting away down the right-hand side, and it will be a Hereford throw in right-back position.
There are so many questions I would have liked to have asked Andy Keller, actually, because as you know, I'm a Man United fan, by upbringing, long before I was a Guiseley fan. Clearly Guiseley is the only club for me now. Not least because we actually look like we've got a proper team that have been signed to play in an actual formation, and occasionally win a few games.
Cantrell now wins the ball down that right-hand side. Oh, it's just a little bit too heavy for Felix or for Wafula. It rolls through to White, but the Lions seem to be on the front foot as much as they can be in this first stages of the second half.
Well, it's so important to get back into the game early, isn't it? These first 5 or 10 minutes of the second half, if there was an opportunity to draw level, then the game really is open, and you've got another half an hour to see who can find the winner. If it drags on and we're still chasing the game, deeper into it, then you start to look at a draw being as the best result. that might be available to you.
Free kick for Guiseley, which is right up by the centre circle. Hamza Ben Sharif, square to Cowan. Cowan hesitates. He's pressed. Finds the ball out to the left-hand side towards Nicholson. His ball towards the front is intercepted. It's now Hereford in possession. Andre Jones. He plays it left, and it's Ryan Lloyd who mistimes his pass. There's a player down here for Hereford. Hodgkiss, who's feeling his knee, his left knee. So the referee comes across and will invite the physio on. Not sure there was a lot I saw about that, so I don't know if that's happened in a challenge.
No, I didn't see it until he was already on the ground. But he does look to be in some discomfort. Physio straight on. This is always one of my favourite things that you watch a physio do is without scanning or special equipment or whatever, just with the right manipulations, they can figure out whether all the joints, all the ligaments inside the knee are attached just by rotating it and turning it and feeling for clicks and bits of resistance at the right moment. And then they can tell the player, well, you know, it's up to you, you're in pain. Do you want to carry on, or it feels like there's something worse at play here, maybe you should come off. It's a real skill being a really good physio, and you can imagine that they get pretty well rehearsed at these routine sort of examinations, but not to be underestimated what goes into it.
He's our very own Dr. Nick, you know.
Hi, everybody.
It doesn't look good, though, does it? Because seems to be a substitute. Now, whether that's just precautionary, Hodgkiss is feeling his motion of his knee, and happily seems to be okay. Maybe he just needs maybe a moment or two just to test that he's comfortable with it. There appeared to be on that far side a player getting kitted up. Might be Kennedy Diggy. As it is, there's no sub just yet. Hodgkiss is back on. Guys, get back underway. Nicholson, long crossfield ball, really nicely played, finds Cantrell. What can Guisey do with it, though? Mbeka, ball heavily played out to the left-hand side and overhit and out for a throw-in to Hereford. Get into promising positions, but just not really finding a ball, some movement, something that is creating clear-cut chances.
Yeah, I haven't seen enough of us yet this season to know whether it's the final ball that's wrong or if it's the runs that are wrong from the front to Wafula and Felix. Or maybe a little bit of both and just, you know, not quite on the same wavelength, not quite clicking on this particular afternoon. But there've been opportunities and then we've sort of seen them come to nothing a few times. So that'll be a real target for the Lions in the second half to try and put that last piece of the puzzle in there. Because then you've got your striker facing the goalkeeper and testing him.
Throw for Hereford is intercepted by Johnson. On the halfway line, Nicholson takes the throw. Looking for options. Goes back to Ben Sharif, who has in John Lewis in hot pursuit. Now Mbeka. Guys are doing what Hereford were doing for spells, which is just playing the ball across the back, trying to find an angle forward, maybe inviting the visitors on a little bit. Mbeka now with a crossfield pass. It's too far away from Cantrell, and it's cleared by Dan Jones. Guisey collect the ball with Dan Cowan. Now Ekpolo. And square to Howarth. Howarth has kept the ball moving over to Nicholson, but Guisey seem to be trying to play through a number of Hereford players at the moment. Ben Sharif now with the ball over the top, looking to get Wafula involved. The flag is up. Wafula's strayed offside. 51 minutes gone. Guisey 0, Hereford 1.
It looks like that Hereford substitution's on pause. No sign of Kennedy Diggy being ready to come on at the moment. And they have tested Jared Hodgkiss a couple of times, or at least have looked to, with balls through, with Wafula playing on Hodgkiss's shoulder. Hodgkiss still checking his left knee even now. But as it stands, no weakness found by the Lions.
Johnson just tidies up the ball that comes forward. Brad Wades plays it into John Lewis, to Ben Sharif, almost into John Lewis. The Lions dispossessed. Finn now on the ball for Hereford, high up the field. Guiseley living a little bit by a thread. There's a firm challenge in here from Mbeka. Immediately everyone's claiming. I think Mbeka's made enough of a touch on the ball. But at the moment, Tom Owen Evans is on the ground. Big shouts, obviously, trying to influence the referee's decision. Guiseley across there too, protesting. And we will see what the decision is at the moment. Tom Owen Evans is on the ground. And Becker certainly flew into the challenge, didn't he? It was a robust challenge. The ball just got away from it. Didn't help probably by the fact the referee was sort of in the way as well.
Yeah, they both players flew into it. The ball was a little bit loose, and you don't know always. Well, there's no way of controlling what's going to happen when both players go in for a ball that neither of them really has under control. And I think it's fair enough that Mbeka's getting a talking to. I suspect he'll go into the book as well here.
From the reaction, you know that the visitors will have been looking for more than a yellow. But the yellow card is out in the referee's hand straight away. LeBron Mbeka is the first one into the book this afternoon. And I think Tom Owen Evans is now up on his feet and fine. So we will resume play in the middle of the park. Guiseley having to defend now. Stan Jones stands over the ball. And there are 4 or 5 pink shirts around on the edge of the 18-yard box. Another 2 not too far away from this is central. They'll be trying to probably find ahead and get a second phase off this ball in, I would imagine. Jones will float this one in towards maybe Grimes. This time it's gone too far away and into the hands of Brad Wade.
Yeah, disappointing delivery that really. Nowhere near anybody except for the young Guiseley goalkeeper. Guiseley starting in midfield from the back, and as so often has been the case, Mark Howarth with Andre Jones around his ankles.
Ball high up in the air and Grimes clears. Polo collects inside the Lions half, but the Lions being pressed up high. It's up towards Wafula. Wafula wins their header. There's a claim that he was pushed in the back that the referee's not interested in. Nicholson now collects and gives it out to Johnson. Johnson with the ball plays it out towards Felix. Felix isn't going to get that one, but he makes sure the clearance isn't completed by Jake Wright. And the ball cannons off into the stand for a Hereford throw. 54 minutes gone. Guiseley 0, Hereford 1.
Yeah, work still to be done from a Lions point of view. Consolidated the game. You know, they don't look at threat of conceding a second, particularly at the moment, but they're still struggling to break this Hereford defence down.
Wafula has gone to win the ball in the air. He's a couple of yards away from the defender, flicks it on, and then complains that nobody was telling him how much space he had. You can hear everything, can't you? Clearance from Brad Wade lands in Hodgkiss's path, and so possession returns over to Hereford.
Yeah, we can hear everything, and what worries me about that is that probably some of them can hear us as well. And, I don't know if anyone wants that, really, us or them.
CDP just pointing out he thinks Howarth looks our best player today. So it's very cultured passing. I do think he's got a nice range of passing.
He doesn't try a ball that isn't on, but he does find interesting passes, and he's a player who seems to have time on the ball, and that's why it's an interesting battle him against Andre Jones in midfield. Is Andre Jones is a player who doesn't let anyone have time, and you know Howarth has to create it by already knowing where his teammates are before receiving it. So it's made for a good little contest, that in midfield, the two of them.
FC United are 2-1 up now against Stafford, by the way. Team we're playing next round of the FA Cup. Kane Felix is pulled back by Jake Wright, who will inevitably go in the book here. We had plenty of hands on him. I don't think there's too much contention about that particular card either.
It's a pretty straightforward decision that. You could see Kane, he had his back to goal, and what he's trying to do is he's trying to move the ball and then very quickly spin, you know, all in that one motion that catches the defender unable to turn and keep pace with him is such a key part of how Kane Felix plays, how any quick forward plays, I suppose. And what any defender does in that situation is they wrap their arms around you and make sure they bring you down to the ground and accept the yellow card when it comes.
Well, that's frustrating. Felix and Howarth on a different wavelength altogether from that free kick. It's played rather tamely down the left-hand side because they're on a different wavelength. It looks probably very poor, and possession turned over back to Hereford, but the Lions have won it back swiftly, and now Johnson gets into the area, gets past Hodgkins into the area, square now to Felix. Felix takes a heavy touch on the edge of the 18-yard box. Not too many chances have arisen for Guiseley, and that one feels like it was a bit of a waste. Good challenge comes in from Hamza Ben Sharif. Free kick is given for the follow-through from Luke Haynes, and there was lots of claims for free kicks there. Hamza Ben Sharif is fine. He'll get up. Referee just making his case clear. And there's another Hereford player just struggling with their shoulder by the looks of it.
Is it the one who just went into?
Yes, it is. It's Haynes. Yes.
Yeah. Well, it was brave by both players actually. You know, the ball was there for both of them to go for, and it was a pretty thumping upright collision between the two of them. Left Ben Sharif on the ground. It wouldn't surprise me if the other player hurt his shoulder in the process.
Howarth floats the ball in. Flag goes up. How infuriating. And guys, you concede a free kick inside the Hereford penalty area.
It was a better move though that before, down the Guiseley left. Johnson free and running forward. First time we've seen him running with the ball that far forward, I think, in the whole game. And it was a really good ball into the box as well. And that first touch by Kane Felix will disappoint him if he doesn't get another good chance on target today.
Do you think he should have shot Johnson? I just wondered whether he might have had a go himself. I'm just trying to remember the angle, but I seem to think the pass caught Kane Felix a little bit by surprise.
There's satisfying team goals to score when you break through square and then the goalkeeper's stuck on his heels because he's watching the winger coming in and he's not ready for the striker and the striker just buries it. But if it was a different player, Johnson's a very unselfish player anyway, perhaps they would have wanted to shoot, having got into the box, facing goal.
South Shields 0, Matlock 1 in the pitching in division below.
Was I on the fence enough for you there?
Ball over the top now for Guiseley to chase onto. It's headed away. Tom Owen Evans goes down, claims a free kick, nothing given by the referee. Guiseley play on. The ball in the Lions half with Hamza Ben Sharif. There's some frustration on the Mixlr chat room about the touch that Kane Felix had. Gabriel Johnson now chests it down well from the left-hand side. Gives it to Brad Nicholson. Right foot Nicholson. Tries to get it through to Mbeka into the area. Kane Felix takes a shot. He's closed down. Gets the ball back. There's another shot that comes in. Just flashes past the goal from Ekpolo. Looks like a corner. Is a corner. But that was a good opportunity. Again, the Lions are creating more now. And that opportunity there from Ekpolo almost got the Lions level.
Yeah, much better actually from Guiseley, breaking forward with more bodies. I mean, there were white shirts streaming into the area there, forcing defenders to make hurried decisions and causing uncertainty. Another corner as the result.
3 in the area, 4 in the area, Kane Felix as well. 3 going up towards the back post. It goes up towards Ben Sharif, who is the target man. The ball comes off. The ball comes off Grimes, and that was a corner, but the referee seen it differently, and it's a goal kick, but it looked like a corner from this angle.
It's a deflating end to that passage of play. It felt like it should have gone on a little bit longer. Felt like we were on the cusp of getting back into it there as well. Hereford will be very glad to have this goal kick now instead of another corner to defend.
Notts County 2, Maidenhead 3 in the National League. That sounds like a game. And there's an equaliser. There was an equaliser on for Kings Lynn, but they've now had a man sent off against Weymouth. The game has paused here because Hamza Ben Sharif has been fouled. And there is going to be a booking, I think, for... Is it John Lewis who made that challenge, Nick? Or is it... no, it's the Chap who's now coming towards the referee, which is Andre Jones, who I believe, is going to get a yellow card.
It was another stiff challenge under a high ball, and that time it looked like contact with Hamza Ben Sharif's head, and he went down holding his top of his face. He's back on his feet. Andre Jones isn't complaining too much about it, so I think on we go, really.
So, that's the second yellow card of the game. One each. It'd be nice if it was on goals as well. Oh, it's 2-1. Sorry, 2-1 to Hereford, isn't it? Because they've already had another one done. So, there we go. We're still trailing on yellow cards. Guys, now pick the ball up. Howarth on the edge of the area is dispossessed. It just rolls out of his feet after being closed down by a number of Hereford defenders. Brad Wade races out of his goal and plays it square to Ben Sharif. Lines in their own half, but getting more of the game now. 62 gone. Guiseley still trailing by that goal to nil. Long ball forward from Ben Sharif. It's good range of passing again that the Lions are showing today. This one's being headed out by Hodgkiss, and Johnson's waiting for the ball to come back. Again, I think that's wrong, I think that was a Guiseley throw. But referee and linesman on this side think it was the other way. Try not to be biased here. Did genuinely think that fell off Hodgkiss's head last.
I thought Hodgkiss had won the ball in the air.
Now Finn's got the ball for Hereford. He's cutting infield, plays the ball to the left-hand side. It's nicely moved. Dan Jones down that left flank. He's up against Cantrell. If he can get past him, he's got bodies in the box to aim for. The block comes in from Cantrell. It's going to be a corner. And that's the danger, isn't it? The counter-attack. After we've had spells of pressure, we've had the ball in the Hereford half, we could easily be undone by a swift counter-attack like that.
Yeah, it can so easily happen, can't it? We've been getting the players forward, and then and all those chances that we've seen in the corners and opportunities to get into the area, and now suddenly penned back inside our area, have some defending to do. Nobody left forward at all for Guiseley.
Corner whips in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Thankfully, it's a Lions foot that's on it, and Hamza Ben Sharif runs up the left flank with the ball, and then realises where he is, stops his run and goes back to Gabriel Johnson. It's with Dan Cowan. Comes up towards the halfway line. Cowan is trying to just find a simple pass forward, but he doesn't succeed. And Ben Sharif is once again in there to challenge John Lewis. He's been on top form as Ben Sharif today. I think tackles have had to be finely timed, and so far he's achieved that. John Lewis, though, causing problems still for Guiseley as Hereford come away with the ball down the right-hand side with Finn. Finn is dispossessed by Nicholson. Nicholson then plays a very poor pass to return possession to the visitors. On the halfway line, right, chips it forward. Good header from Nicholson to clear, finds Felix. Felix has 2 on him, heads the ball up in the air. Haynes and Howarth go for it. It's returned to Nicholson inside the Lions half. He's got 2 to aim for in front. He plays a crossfield ball, which is taken down very well by Cantrell. Again, playing very well this afternoon. Into Cowan. Again, Guiseley just playing the ball around, looking for a patient build-up here. Just being asked by the Guiseley Dreamer, any subs been made? No subs as yet. I was asking, would anyone like to see one? That's an interesting question.
I was just wondering if our minds would turn towards that, and I thought, well, we're not actually playing badly, and I can't think of anyone who's actually having a bad game. But we just can't break them down. That wasn't you naming, a suggestion, was it?
I was just about to say Cowan's intercepting a ball that's going forward. I'm not suggesting he gets subbed. The ball out to the left-hand side, picked up by Johnson. Johnson on the edge of the 18-yard box. Can he get past his marker? Gets a shot away, takes a deflection that takes the sting out of it and means it's easy for the goalkeeper to claim at his near post. 66 minutes gone. Guiseley 0, Hereford 1.
But yes, no one from the Guiseley bench warming up. If you're watching us on YouTube, you'll be able to see them all there in their high-vis vests. Only one substitute out warming up at the moment, and they are in Hereford white socks, so we can be pretty sure that's nothing to do with us.
Clearance from the back is eventually headed forward. Grimes completes a clearance, goes in for a challenge with Wafula. Wafula goes to ground. No foul in that. Hereford recover possession. Finn on the ball on the right-hand side, up against Nicholson. Finn is brushed off the ball by Nicholson, and the ball rolls out of play for a goal kick. CDP just saying on the balance of play we should be level.
I think that's fair, yeah. I think we should have done a bit better with the chances that we've had, to be honest.
Here's an important message, a shout out from Lion Cub to Betty Marshall and wish her a very happy birthday for last Wednesday. Absolutely happy birthday, Betty. Hope you had a great day. We'd love to be able to improve today by bringing you the Guiseley equaliser. We can't control that though. Right on the ball here for the visitors as they play it out from the back and play it down that left-hand side. There's a chase on here for Ryan Lloyd. Hereford are getting bodies into the box now. If Lloyd could deliver a cross, but he's forced back. They change the angle of play. Hodgkiss from deep right plays the ball into the box. It's not dealt with too comfortably by Guiseley, but Hamza Ben Sharif is there, and he sends the ball long upfield. Earns the Lions some yards more than anything else, and it'll be a throw-in for Hereford in left-back position.
I don't know about you, but I keep having these sort of waves of realising how weird it is being here, you know, and that just reading that message out was my first one since, well, probably since I arrived this afternoon. Actually, was there's no James here, you know, how weird. I've never been at a game at Nethermore, you know, or you know, this is the third one we've been at since the season started properly, or I have, sorry. No James.
Yeah.
And it's just another reminder of just how utterly unsatisfactory the whole situation is, which isn't news to anyone who's been alive in 2020. But you sort of keep accepting it, and then something makes you go, oh yeah, this isn't normal at all, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Hereford have a throw-in in right-back position. And the throw goes up the field, but is picked up by Hamza Ben Sharif, who plays it into the feet of Johnson. Infield now from Johnson from that left-hand side. Johnson now gets the ball back, finds Kane Felix, who turns really well. Can he launch a shot? No, he's going to be closed down. There's a tame appeal for a free kick. It was nicely tackled in the end. A dinked ball into the box by Nicholson. And there's nobody on the same wavelength. Wafula flat-footed on the edge of the area, waiting for a ball into feet, I think. And it's comfortable for the goalkeeper to claim.
It does look like Matty Gillam might be the one to come on for Guiseley in a few moments. Had to check whether Paul Clayton was still in his tracksuit, because they do look a little bit similar from this distance.
There's a free kick being given, and I think it's Guiseley who are the beneficiaries. Referee's going to call another player over. I'm not quite sure. Is it number 17, Ryan Lloyd, who's going to be spoken to? Is he going to his book? He's not happy about something. Not really sure what that is, unless he's seen a number of different fouls. It is an accumulation. Don't know if you've got any insight onto that one, Nick.
No, he's not making it as easy as the referee did on Tuesday, who was literally counting out the fouls and pointing them out, and right down here in front of us, so we had the benefit of understanding exactly what decision he was making, even if the opposition player didn't agree with it.
This one now is a free kick to Guiseley, floated into the box, and it's not cleared yet. It's still in the box, but doesn't fall kindly for the Lions. Seems to be the way of things this afternoon. Cowan back to Wade. Wade is on the edge of his area. Guiseley still keeping a number of bodies forward, and Cantrell is being urged to play it up to the left-hand side, but goes right. And it's a cut-in field here from Ekpolo into Mbeka. Trying to dictate things from the centre circle. Goes square. Nicholson, long one, up here to Kane Felix. Felix, nice ball into Howarth. Howarth backheels it, finds Gabriel Johnson. But again, Guiseley don't go forward. They can't find that incisive ball. Here's Ekpolo trying to feed it through to Wafula. Guys recover the second phase though as it's scrambled away. Wafula out to the right where Cowan crosses. It was floating towards Gabriel Johnson but cleared before it got to him. Johnson gets the ball back now as it's headed back into the penalty area. Can't find any space in the box to get a shot away. Ekpolo, right hand side. Cowan drills it in, low, blocked. And now Hereford will come away with the ball again and they scramble it clear up towards the halfway line. Up towards John Lewis, who can't keep it in play, and it's out for a throw for Guiseley. Still, Guiseley 0, Hereford 1.
There is Hereford coverage today, isn't there? So we haven't talked about them so much, but if you were commentating on them right now, you'd be talking about the rearguard action. You know, they're holding up against sustained pressure now from the Lions, and at the moment, still yet to concede a goal.
Ball goes back to the goalkeeper. Felix chases that one all the way down, using every ounce of energy that he's got. Hamza Ben Sharif has just played a poor header out of play, holds his hands up in apology. Dan Cowan scrambled across to try and keep it out. I'll keep it in, rather. And that's interesting. So Kane Felix is going to be replaced by Matty Gillum. You got any thoughts on that one then, as sub, Nick? Well, different type of striker, maybe different type of frontman?
Yeah, in truth, Kane's biggest involvement, you know, in the game was probably the chance that he had the heavy first touch on. You know, he's been there and he's been looking for the opportunities, but
now the ball into the Guiseley penalty box. It's a bit of a scramble to get it clear. It's untidy, but in the end, the Lions are able just to watch that one out.
Yeah, I was going to say, Kane, he's been trying, he's been working hard, but not had a great impact on the game, in truth. Not been a huge amount of space. He's working against some big defenders, and they're big mobile defenders, like we were saying in the first half. They're not big lumbering centre-backs for Hereford today. And it has been tricky, and fair enough, they want to try something different.
Gloucester beaten Blythe 6-1. So they didn't go goal crazy in the second half. It was a late own goal, the only addition to that game. If you're tuning in now, either on the YouTube or on our Mixlr account, then you'll be treated to another 15 minutes of football because we started late here. Johnson has been pulled back. The Lions are trailing by 1-0. Hereford scoring on 30 minutes from the penalty spot. Guiseley now trying to work a way back into the game. That will be a Lions throw on the halfway line. But have really not created too much goal threat. Lacking, I think, as some of the feedback we've been getting on the Mixlr chat room, lacking an incisive final ball. Over the top. Now looking to get Gillum involved. Gillum crosses from the right-hand side, almost finding Wafula. Johnson collects the second phase. Howarth. He's back to goal. 25 yards away from goal, and he's gone back to Umbeka. Umbeka moves it out to Cowan. Guys, he still have bodies forward though. Ekpolo collects. Out here to Cantrell. Cantrell lays it back to Ekpolo. He's chasing, but that's a good challenge in on him by Jamie Grimes. But it will mean a long throw from Brad Nicholson will be upcoming.
Yeah, and another chance once again. Tall players into the box. Cantrell and Cowan left back to look after the lone Hereford player who's outside of their area. Everybody else on the pitch in there looking for this throw. Very crowded box.
Long one goes in. Flicked on. It goes over the crossbar as a defensive header. It's less than fully convincing, and it's sent it out for a corner ball for the Lions. And you just wonder whether a set piece, a set play would be what Guiseley might just need. We've got the size of Umbeka. We've got Ben Sharif, who we know can come up with the goods aerially. And everybody's in the 6-yard box for this one. Howarth, right arm up. Goalkeeper claims it, doesn't claim it. It goes in towards goal and is scrambled off the line. half-hearted shout from Guiseley that it went over the line. But goalkeeper White was in a bit of no man's land for a moment as the ball was fired back in towards a goal. But Guiseley still have the attacking momentum here as Gillam gets a shot away, saved by the goalkeeper. He took it first time from the edge of the 18-yard box, and I think that was the right decision. Guiseley being a little bit hesitant on a couple of occasions to shoot. Well, certainly from that sort of angle. In the first half, it was shooting from range. That one, well claimed by the goalkeeper.
No, a good start, having come on there from Gillam twice, peeling away to the left, showing good energy and desire to get into the box, and that time showing the aggression to want to get the shot away early and not stop to think, but have a go. And it's one of the few times I can remember White making a save. You know, we've had lots of opportunities, and White was involved in that goalmouth scramble a couple of minutes ago. But rare to see a Guiseley striker facing goal and shooting at the keeper from a reasonable sort of range today. Bright start.
Cowan now on the ball for Guiseley, plays it through. Gillam's found a bit of space in the area. He's trying to get past his marker, gets the cross back across the face of goal, but it falls behind Wafula, who was charging in there. But Guiseley on the front foot here, winning the ball back. Johnson curls it in, headed away. Again, frustration as the Lions fail to find the man in the box. It's a real rearguard action here from Hereford, defending very stoutly, defending very effectively, it has to be said as well. Now, Johnson on the ball, right-hand side. He's tumbled to the ground, but the referee's not really interested in that, and to be fair, I don't think that was a foul. Ben Sharif does well to win the ball back off John Lewis on the halfway line. Now Guiseley reclaim the forward momentum again with Cantrell running down the right-hand side, plays it into the penalty area. Johnson takes a curling shot with his left foot. He might have laid it into the path of Howarth. The effort that he took straight at the goalkeeper, and comfortable. Still 12 minutes to go. Guiseley trailed by a 1-0.
Well, the chances are coming thick and fast now, aren't they? In contrast to earlier in the game where we've had spells where we haven't been able to get into the box. We're getting there now. Hereford defending much, much deeper.
Just want to say a happy birthday to Reuben Young, who is 15 today, and has been posting on the message board on the YouTube account. We're not watching it, but we have got Chris Bell, who's helping us out and doing a grand job. So thank you, Chris, for pointing that out to us. There's lots of volunteers. We can't all be at the ground at the moment. It's very difficult to organise and be within the limits that we should be within, and the organisation that we need. And so there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes as well. And Chris doing a grand job on looking after the YouTube account. And a really happy birthday to Reuben as well. Now, there's a chance here for Hereford as they press the Lions here. The ball played out to the right-hand side. Hodgkiss will get a shot away. It's blocked, but he still gets a second bite at it. Guys, he scramble it away. Johnson trying to find an outlet, screaming for an outlet. Doesn't find one. And Dan Jones, the substitute Kelsey Mooney closes down. And that's out for a Guiseley throw. In all of that description there, I just have to say Tom Evans is off and Kelsey Mooney has come on for Hereford. 10 minutes to go. Guiseley now chasing this game, looking to press as George Cantrell closes down and forces a hurried clearance. Another ball in the cricket field. Just a goal behind, and just 10 minutes left to really capitalise, really put the pressure on in search of an equaliser here. Cantrell. He's got Cowan on the overlap. It's too heavy. Firmly blasted into the George Stock stand over that side. Guiseley will have another opportunity here for the long throw as Brad Nicholson goes over.
Yeah, and this time really not many people left back to defend at all. Taking a really high line. Brad Wade is almost in the centre circle. And this long throw will go into the 6-yard line again.
It's a long one into the box. Headed away. Collected now by Cantrell. Right-hand side. Nicholson curls this one in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Really good save. Kellett's header. But the keeper got enough of an arm to push it wide. And in all of that, I don't think it would have counted anyway because the referee blew his whistle. Saw some sort of foul in that. But that was almost the perfect cross and the perfect connection. And the goalkeeper, Paul White, did enough very swiftly to move his arms to block it. In the end, there was a foul. Free kick to Hereford, and White needs some attention for the moment.
He looks a little bit dazed, doesn't he? But it was a brilliant point-blank save on his goal line. But he's just checking that he's feeling all right on top to continue. Now, I'm going to get Paul Clayton past and present in the one game here, aren't I? Because Gillam was already on, and he's going to be joined by the Mark 1 version.
And so Paul Clayton's coming on. Sorry, so just the substitutes are happening here. And the other one is Nathan Newell, who's coming on and going to get a run out. As Cowan and Ekpolo go off. And then Ryan Lloyd, who's on a yellow card for Hereford, he's being replaced as well. As, the Lions will have a bit of a reorganising job to do here, won't they, Nick?
It'll be, I'm going to sidestep that, but I'll say that I'm sidestepping it, of course. It looks like 4 at the back now. Newell will go to left back, Nicholson will play alongside Hamza, and that will free up an extra body to be a little bit further forward. Just Howarth and Becker in midfield. Everyone else will be trying to get as far forward as they possibly can.
Well, I think the introduction of Paul Clayton says a lot about what we think we'll need to get that goal. It's that physical presence, that ability to be an absolute nuisance in the box, which is what Paul Clayton's got, certainly in his locker. Guiseley now scrambling the ball upwards towards Gillam. He doesn't get it first time. Causes enough of a problem to allow Becker to create space for himself and plays it out to the right-hand side. Cantrell in towards Wafula. Wafula misses out on this occasion. The ball is cleared, but collected now by Nicholson. He's got Newell on this left-hand side. Newell, can he deliver a cross with his left foot? It's a good ball in there! Almost connected by Gillam, almost connected by Clayton, but somehow flashes past everyone and beyond the goalkeeper and behind for a goal kick. But what a delivery there from Nathan Newell.
That was a brilliant ball in, and either one of them could have got the end on the end of it. Perfect sort of opportunity for a striker, and they both desperately wanted to be able to make contact with the ball. Not far away at all, was it? And that's exactly what Paul Clayton has been brought on for. You know, we've had goalmouth scrambles, we've had the ball inside the area, so you need a poacher-type striker on up there. We don't need maybe so much pace and mobility as we did earlier in the game. At the moment, someone in there who can find the back of the net. If we can get the right ball in, could be the difference between us getting a point and leaving empty-handed today.
Free kick's being given against Matty Gillam. Hereford will take it in the left-back position. Guiseley trailing by 1-0, thanks to a first-half penalty converted by John Lewis. Since then, we've played much better in the second half, been much more adventurous, but found it hard to break down this very resilient, very strong Hereford side. And just now perhaps had one of the most clear-cut chances, thanks to the introduction of Nathan Newell, who just delivered a beautiful ball into the box that almost connected with Matty Gillam and Paul Clayton, as the 3 substitutes nearly pulled off the feat of getting the equalising goal. Now Brad Nicholson collects the ball in the halfway line. He's closed down, so just plays it back here. Howarth's got Newell out here on the left-hand side. Newell's up against a defender, so he's held and checked his run, found Howarth. Howarth floats it in towards the edge of the 18-yard box. Touch is a bit too heavy as Wafula loses out. The ball is cleared. Counter-attack could be on here. Cantrell scurrying back to try and chase the substitute Mooney, who's moving down that left-hand side. Good challenge comes in from Cantrell. Mooney, though, recovers the ball. Back here to Klukowski, the second sub, who plays it forward. Crossfield passes very well, finds Finn on the edge of the area. Hereford now have a good chance here to get another shot away. It's blasted in, hits a crowd of players. Guiseley managed to hold firm. Bencherif clears, but it falls short. Haynes will take a shot from range, and that time it's also a little bit wild and overly ambitious. Bounces back off the 4G pitch and onto the field for a goal kick.
Yeah, and back underway quickly as you would expect, but dangerous moments for Guiseley inside the area. That time Nathan Newell miles forward, so Brad Nicholson suddenly realising there was no one outside him and he was going to have to come over out of the centre-back position he's just moved into. Anyway, Guiseley going forward now.
Ball into the box, and again it's a whipped-in ball into the penalty spot territory. But this one is comfortable for Paul White to claim. He is just taking his time. There's only 3 minutes left on the clock. CDP just saying, not our day, used up this week's luck on Tuesday. I have to say also, Hank Scorpio was just pointing out, we've raised almost £1,600 via the crowdfunder. Fantastic effort. It is such a... We're very grateful for everyone who's contributed to this. This has obviously got a lot of cost behind it, and that does help. Our aim is to try and keep them free to air, and so thank you for absolutely everyone who has contributed today. We're so grateful. Newell now just loses the flight of the ball, and that allows Hereford to reclaim possession. Howarth closing down the ball down the right hand channel. It's too heavily hit. Brad Wade will take his time and then send it long. Left foot up towards Clayton. And there's a shout to, I'm sure will not please Paul Clayton for a foul. And there's a rather, well, one, I think the referee was on the wrong side of that one, to be honest. It's free kick to Hereford. Luke Haynes has earned. Gillam and Clayton not impressed, are they?
Well, I think they've a reasonable case in this situation, and obviously Hereford, taking their time in absolutely no hurry to get the game underway, move the ball forwards, backwards, take the time to get set up as you would, defending a 1-goal lead, heading towards injury time.
Oh, no, it's not being dealt with well, and there's a good shot that comes in there from Finn, tipped over by Brad Wade. But that was a real opportunity there for Hereford just to put this game to bed. And all are really arising from Guiseley's inability to clear our lines at that moment in time.
Yeah, and honestly, probably the first really good save of the game by Brad Wade as well, actually, now that I think about it. And it was picture perfect, wasn't it? Up there, one-handed, tipping it over the bar. It was good. And he's not had masses to do, if we're being honest. Guiseley have been on the attack for the bulk of the second half, trying to get their way back into this game. So he's done well to concentrate and stay sharp for that. But they've got a corner to defend now, and Guiseley don't have the luxury of being able to leave lots of players forward to come out on the break.
4 minutes stoppage time to be added. Guiseley battling to try and get the ball out of the corner and trying to win it back off Hereford, who are in full game management mode now, just trying to run the clock down. The Lions have asked questions, get a free kick now. Perhaps a less than convincing one on Paul Clayton this time. But Brad Wade is coming out of his goal a long way. Not quite Stephen Drench distance from goal, is it?
No, but it'll be an interesting angle there. Left-footed player, of course, Brad Wade, and he's going to have to curl this in from very deep, try and land it close to the edge of the area.
It does, but it's fallen straight for a Hereford player, and Brad Wade is called out as a makeshift sweeper. He was tripped, but referee allows the advantage, and guys who get the game, continue the game to flow. Nathan Newell just loses the flight of the ball in the air. It touches, the final touch appears to be off a Hereford player in that case. I actually thought it was the other way around, but difficult to probably spot from that angle for the officials. We had a good view of it here. It was right in front of us. Nicholson plays the ball down the left-hand side. The ball is put out of play and into touch, so Brad Nicholson's earned a throw at a much better angle. Could this be the opportunity for Guiseley to press? Brad Nicholson, long throw into the box, looking for this equaliser, goes up in the area, it's cleared, falls as far as Nathan Newell, he'll hit it, he hits it low, and it's hit a cluster of players before being cleared. Back in there by Cantrell, headed away. It'll be another throw for Guiseley. Frustratingly, with injury time tipping over, Guiseley just can't quite make it, and then that's a poor throw in from Nicholson. It's not anticipated by Mbeka, and now the counter-attack is on. That's frustrating from Guiseley's perspective, because it means that Dan Jones here can just try and tick the clock down. Guiseley win it back, thankfully, but do need to press and get the ball upfield. Mbeka. And again, the Lions just unable to get out of that space. It's eventually cleared by Ben Sharif up to Gabriel Johnson. Johnson goes down, and as he grabs the ball thinking he was fouled, the free kick goes the other way for the handball. I feel like that might be one of our last chances there with that set play.
We must be nearly out of time because the scoreboard's flickering on and off. And it looks like with that decision going against Guiseley that possibly our moments of opportunity may have passed us. Referee's checking his watch. He must be pretty close to calling time.
Crossfield pass for Finn is effective. He found lots of space in there, and it's played forward but headed away, or hoofed away by Ben Sharif. He'll be frustrated because that's not gone forward, but Nathan Newell works hard to win it back, and then the ball's just hit a player in the back of the head who's gone to ground. Referee will stop that, as that should be a drop ball when we get restarted, but player's just gone down. He took a full blast of the ball, didn't he, without sight of it as it was being cleared by Brad Nicholson.
He did, and you may have just picked up Paul Clayton letting the referee know that's another 2 to add on then. It is funny being able to hear them so clearly.
It will be a drop ball to Brad Wade. This is it really, isn't it? Final chance of the game if there is to be enough. Once Finn gets back on his feet, again, it's good game management as well, isn't it? Just to make sure if you've got something, you just stay down and use up the clock as much as possible.
He could roll off the pitch from there absolutely fine, but no reason why he needs to. He can get the attention from the physio, and then the referee will get us back underway. But we're starting on the edge of our own penalty area, deep into injury time. 1-0 still behind.
And a injury time substitute to boot. Finn is actually going off.
Fair enough.
And Diggy is coming on. The ball with Brad Wade. Plays it into the feet here of Johnson. Johnson's closed down. Guys, you need to get it forward. Cantrell up towards the left-hand side where it's been played out of play before it could be collected there by Polo, and it's out for a foot by Wafula, and it's out for a Hereford throw.
Just wanted them to get the ball forward from the restart there, didn't we?
Yeah. Oh, and Mbeka's now been penalised. I think we've probably seen Guys' best chance now. It's going to peter out at this rate. Hereford doing well in terms of disrupting the flow of play, slowing it down.
Yeah, they'll be happy with how they defended earlier in this second half, and they'll be happy with how they're taking the sting out and letting the clock do its thing now at the death of the game.
In defeat, though, we've shown we've faced a good side here. As the final whistle goes, Guiseley have lost, but not without real endeavour and effort in that second period. It was a single goal scored by little John Lewis after 30 minutes from the penalty spot that gave Hereford the 3 points. But Guiseley had chances. Wafula might have penalised the visitors had he taken his early chance, and there was plenty of play in the second half in the Hereford final third. Lack of cutting edge perhaps, but on the end Hereford defended very stoutly and take the points back with them. It's finished here, Guiseley 0, Hereford 1.
Well, it was a close sort of a game, and it warrants a close sort of result. Just that one goal in it. first taste of defeat, but as you say, Colin, not a performance without merit, not a performance without some redeeming features. We made chances. Some of the substitutes who came on the bed off of the bench had short moments to show that they could add something a little bit different to the Guiseley attack. And honestly, we defended pretty well throughout the game. We didn't concede a great number of chances, and Hamza Ben Sharif organised that back line very well, I thought, over the course of the game. So a disappointing result, but we can't carry on winning games with clean sheets over and over again forever, can we? So we can afford a little bit of defeat, and there'll be some things that I'm sure the team and the managers can learn, and we'll go again soon enough.
It's a funny result, isn't it? Because although we've lost, I think there are a lot of positives out of the performance. There are questions about the final ball, the ability of us to create a clear opportunity with that possession. But that said, the work rate was excellent. The approach play at times was spot on. The range of passing today in particular was very good. There are plenty of positives. The defensive play, as you say, and the defensive shape and organisation too, spot on.
You can see the pieces there, and you can see how they fit together, and we'll continue to see how that team develops as we get deeper into the season. But I think Hereford will go away feeling like they did pretty well to get all 3 points with the number of clear chances that they had, and they'll be pretty happy with how they defended to keep that clean sheet. And guys, they will feel a little bit unlucky that they never got a goal, but that they weren't too far away from this game either. So a pretty even game, played in a pretty decent spirit, I thought, and good points for both teams. Sadly, just not the points for us today.
So a 1-0 defeat for the Lions. We'll just wrap up with the final scores from around the games in the National League and our division and the one below. So for the National League, it's finished Dagenham Redbridge 0, Yeovil 0, Eastleigh 2, Aldershot 2, Notts County 2, Maidenhead 3, Solihull Moors 1, Boreham Wood 0, Torquay 2, Dover 0, Wealdstone 4, Wrexham 3, a real roller coaster of a game that one seemed to be. Weymouth 2, Kings Lynn 1, Woking 0, FC Halifax 0, and later on tonight is Chesterfield versus Stockport, two of the teams, of course, we faced in pre-season. In the National League North, it's finished with AFC Telford 1, Gateshead 0, Curzon Ashton 2, Farsley 1, Gloucester 6, Blythe 1, Guiseley 0, Hereford 1, Southport 1, Chorley 0, Spennymoor 2, Chester 1. And in the table, Guiseley are bang in the middle at the moment, although that doesn't seem to have updated an awfully well. So, well, perhaps I'll just avoid, I'll swerve reading what the table looks like because it doesn't look correct just yet. But we've had a good outing this afternoon in terms of performance. It just hasn't returned into a result that we were hoping for. But thank you so much for joining us. Hope you can join us next week. We will be providing some form of coverage of the FC United game in the fourth round qualifying of the FA Cup. And we hope that we can just continue where we left off in the FA Cup and get through to that first round proper. What an important season, what an important time, what an important year that would be to complete that particular feat. But today, the match was just beyond us. Guiseley have lost. It's finished here. Guiseley 0, Hereford 1. See you again next week.